with foul trouble today, but really kind of had a team win there with everyone contributing. What did this win tell you about your team, and how gratifying is it to kind of see that kind of a game where everyone can pitch in like that?
Yeah, I think what's transpired over the last 5 games is there's many layers to it, many levels to it. Played a lot of the 100 minutes in the second half with Ahmed and Nikhil with 4 fouls, and then KJ got his 4th foul. Obviously, we only have 5 guys left after that. And the response of all of those guys is unlike any that I've seen, regardless of the result of the game. Just how hard they're playing, how much they care for one another. I think the character of how they were raised is evident.
Travis? Coach, one of those guys, obviously, Jonathan, comes in, gives you 13 minutes, makes a great pass to Carey in the first half, gets a couple rebounds, and then sticks 2 huge threes. Does that sort of embody what this roster has to be and is about right now?
Again, I think I probably could tell stories on all of them, but for sure, Mully, that was career high in everything, right? 5 games ago, he played 2 minutes total in ACC play. And I thought the 2 baskets were thankful that he made them, obviously, but that he even took them speaks to who he is. And I thought the 2 traffic rebounds that he got, same. And that he ran to that as opposed to maybe backing into it. It says a lot about him, says a lot about the encouragement of his teammates. I think it's hard as a player. I was never a player, but sit over there forever and never get to play, and then all of a sudden you're forced into this sort of role on the road, and to be able to respond is, again, like I said, I've never seen anything like it in my career.
Nikhil got 3 fouls in the first half. Med got 2 fouls in the first half. Do you feel you'll handle that situation, better than against?
I was trying, Berman. I mean, oh yeah, I think they did. I would like to have more than one guy on the floor that can dribble. I prefer 4, and I think they managed it as well as they could. I thought our staff did a really good job of trying to offense for defense, buy a minute here. I think it's the first half. Nikhil's never started since he's been a college player. In the first ATO of the second half, it was a push. We tied them, so that bought us 4.5 minutes. I thought those minutes were really, really important. Bought him some minutes, even in the second ATO. I know we lost by 1, but we were able to buy him a couple of more minutes that I thought ended up being pivotal, particularly at the end of the game.
Buzz, what's the biggest change in Pitt you've seen since the last time you played him?
Well, I think the first thing that I would say is their roster is completely different than it was last year. And style of play on both ends of the floor, I think, are diametrically opposed to what they were. Honestly, we played Wednesday night, the late game, and I don't know if it's because of when we have played and when they have played, but until Thursday morning, I had not seen any clips of Pitt, which is strange this deep into the season. So I don't know if maybe who they have played in their first 12 games and who we had played, there's not a lot of cross-matching, but I had not seen them. So we had a lot of background work to do, not only with what they're doing schematically, but just their personnel, having a feel for that.
I know you hate these big picture questions, but I mean that was your 20th win today that you got, and including obviously 3 without Justin. What what does that mean to you to hit 20 and to be able to get these last 3 without one of your best players?
Yeah, I did some research on it, and I told Burnip in the postgame, and I mean this respectfully to you because I know you work hard and cover us, but I thought there was a lot of historical things at stake. And I want to be careful that I don't say any of it because I don't want it to sound arrogant or egotistical. But if you'll do your research, there's a lot of good gems in what transpired today, not specific to Pitt. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but specific to Virginia Tech basketball.
Coach, Carey, obviously, his game kind of spoke for itself today, but put you guys on his back, and he's been really aggressive offensively the last couple nights out. Can you just maybe speak to the work that he's put in?
We have to play through him. He's our best defender. He's our best scorer. He's our best passer. He's our best playmaker. And he has the highest basketball IQ on our team. The issue is he can't pass it to himself. He had 8 assists and 0 turnovers on Wednesday. I thought that was categorically one of the biggest stats. And then today, again, it's hard to pass. Every dribble is contested against Pitt. Every pass is contested. And so the touches that he was able to get, I understand that he was very efficient offensively. But even when he doesn't score, it relieves some pressure on Ahmed and Ty and Nikhil, where they don't feel like they have to do it on their own. He's able to make the game a little easier for him when he has possession of the ball.
You got a quick turnaround now for UVA. In terms of your defense, what has to be better than when you played them in Charlottesville?
Everything. I know that sounds cliche. Berman, my mind's racing so fast, and I'm so bad in post-game, as you know. Tony Bennett is a Hall of Fame coach. He'll be in the Hall of Fame before his career is even close to being over. I think he'll end up being one of the youngest ever admitted into the Hall of Fame. They're good enough to win the national championship just like they were last year. I think they've lost 3 games in 2 years. This will be our 3rd game in 5 days. It seems like that's the 2nd time that's happened this month. It seems ironic to me, but we bought the John Gordon book, The No Complaining Rule. So everything we do will have to be better than it has been through our 13 conference games in order to have a chance.
You know, we've talked a bunch, Buzz, with Jeff Capel this season about fatigue and sort of how at this point in the season, every team to a certain extent is tired. You're a team, you know, especially without Robinson that's had to play with some small rotations. What do you feel like has allowed you all to sort of push through that?
I was talking to a friend of mine who is assistant general manager in the league. He came to the game today, and I saw him just briefly before I went in the locker room. That's a good question. We played 3 weeks without P.J. Horn. We've played 5 games without 5. The thing that I struggle with as a coach is similar to what Berman just asked, is even what he asked about Pitt. We play Wednesday night at 8, so in essence our guys are at home, we hope, at midnight. They got to go to school Thursday morning. We've played 7 guys in the month of February. Since the Miami game, we've played 7 guys. And all of them are in different roles now. And so we have to spend some portion of practice trying to get those 7 guys some level of comfort in what we're asking them to do. Yet we also have to give them some foundation of the opponent and what they're going to do. That's a struggle in and of itself. What becomes even more of a struggle is, well, you don't have enough guys to play 5-on-5. So how are you going to give them reps of trying to be the best version of themselves while also trying to give them reps of what the opponent is? And then how do you balance that in practice relative to your question of fatigue, that Monday will be our 3rd game in 5 days with 7 guys. How do you do yourself? How do you do the opponent? And as I mentioned to one of the writers from the Journal-Constitution came to the game on Wednesday, the more I've studied the league this year, similar to what I was just mentioning about Pitt, who do you play? Where do you play? When do you play? And I've really been studying, like, how does all of that come to be? and then who's calling the game. And I've learned a lot from studying that database that we've put together, not just of Virginia Tech, all ACC versus ACC opponents. And I don't know what the answer is. Like, should we practice tomorrow? We're playing a top 3 team in the United States. So should we practice tomorrow and we're going to get home at whatever time? And then if we practice, is that right relative to having enough energy for Monday night? Which is why I thought, to some degree, this game was so important. So it is a delicate balance of mental gas tank, emotional gas tank, physical gas tank in relation to the schedule.